Welcome to Literary AF Podcast.
Hello, you're listening to the Literary AF Podcast. My name's Danny.
I'm Arlene.
And today we're going to be talking about...
More books.
More books. Immortals After Dark.
I was actually going to say vampires, but then I realized there are a lot more than just vampires.
Vampires and demons and witches and...
Werewolves.
Werewolves.
The most important ones.
I don't know.
Well, okay, I can't even say that convincingly, honestly, because I like so many of the different races. Also, Yuna is here too.
My cat's hanging out.
Yep.
And she's mad.
Because we're not paying attention to her.
Yeah, no.
But, unfortunately, no cats. One cat so far in Immortals After Dark was in the last book I just read,
Oh, yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
A singular cat, but yeah, that's all.
She's a witch's cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're not talking about
Not
that
that one yet, nope.
Nope, that's for next episode.
Yep.
Right now, we are talking about the fact that Danny basically converted me to romance recently, this year, certainly.
Within the last 3 months.
I think it's been longer than that.
I don't think so.
I will check my Goodreads at some point, because I'm pretty sure, though, that I read Dark Needs at Night's Edge in the winter sometime. February sounds right. But that was the first romance novel that I have read.
February 10th, 2019.
Nice.
February, March, April, May, June.
Yeah, it's 4 months.
5. July.
Oh.
It's August now.
Oh. it is August now, everybody. And Apparently I've lost that time because I've been reading so many Immortals After Dark books.
Non-stop.
Yes.
Yep.
But going back to what I was saying,
yep.
That was the first romance book I had read since I had stolen a number of my grandma's Harlequins.
This seems to be like a common thing with people who read romance. Like, I stole my mother's Harlequins, or I stole my grandmother's Harlequins. My mom didn't read Harlequins, so I didn't find romance books until I was 24.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that may be better, but I also feel like the people who read them when they were younger found out there was sexy bits in them and was just like, I want to read this sex that's in my house. So,
right.
I have seen other people make this statement as well, so I know I'm not alone.
Yep.
So I feel validated.
Sure.
That's the word.
Sure.
And
I just grew up with the internet, so I didn't need to hunt down my mom's dirty books.
I am a filthy millennial. Danny's Gen Z.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm a millennial, too.
No, we're on the opposite spectrum. Like, I'm the oldest millennial, and you are, like, one of the younger ones.
One of the younger ones, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
But I did not grow up with the internet. My first exposure to sexual content was dirty magazines I found under a bed and Harlequin novels.
I thought you were going to say you found them in the woods, because apparently Dustin, my boyfriend, and Sheldon both grew up in a small town in Manitoba.
Right.
And you used to just find porn, like, in the woods or, like, just in the ditch or something.
Just some poor farmer boy's porn stash.
And this is, like, a common enough thing that they have talked about this with their friends, like, while I'm there. They're just like, yeah, remember, you know, when you found the porn in the whatever, yeah.
Just shared experiences.
This
in
is apparently
small
just
town
what used
Canada.
to happen, was you just found porn outside.
It's like a treasure. Why can't I find that now?
I mean, you're not looking in the right places.
I suppose. Either that or people are just no longer hiding their paper products where the rain can get them.
Alright.
But onto the books. Yeah, so the first one I did read was Dark Needs at Night's Edge.
Yes.
Which is technically the
4th book.
4th/5th.
We're not going to count the novellas.
Okay.
I have not read the novellas, and
Okay.
I've been told that you really don't need to.
I believe it. I would like to at some point, just so
Eventually, yeah.
that I have the full Roth experience.
Except the last one, The Deep Kiss of Winter or whatever.
Okay.
The heroine's name is Daniela.
Awesome.
Spelt the exact same way as mine.
Oh, that's so good.
And it's weird, and I don't know if I can do it. It's just weird.
It's like you're reading self-insert fanfiction.
Yeah, that's why it's
somebody
weird.
else wrote about you.
That's why it's weird.
Kresley Cole's Danny insert friend fiction.
Because not only is it like, my first name is Daniela, and usually if people are going with names like that, they go with Danielle. And then if they do Daniela, it usually has 2 L's. Right. Is the more common way to spell it.
Yeah.
I have 1 L in my first name, and this is the only other time I've seen a Daniela with 1 L in their first name.
I have wondered at one point, like, how weird that would be to read a book where, especially a romance novel, where the heroine's name is your name.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that's kind of a surreal experience.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. I don't know if I can do it. We'll see.
I mean, is the guy hot?
I mean, it's one of the Roth brothers.
Oh, well then, you're fine.
The other one, Murdoch?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he was kind of a baby.
Yeah.
Murdoch's kind of a baby. Summary of my feelings about him. Conrad, mega hot. Nikolai, kind of dink. Like, maximum dink.
Sure.
He seems like the kind of guy who always has to be the boss no matter what.
I think he's the oldest brother, so
yeah,
that's probably a trait. That,
he was probably the shittiest to grow up with, because he was probably super bossy.
Yeah.
So.
And then you got Sebastian Roth.
Who, also a baby.
Also a baby. Big baby.
Super big baby.
Big by other guys' standards. He's very tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think out of all of them, I liked Conrad the most. I know.
You can't see, but I've rolled my eyes at her.
I liked him because he was the worst. And I think a very common theme with my enjoyment of these books is that if the guy is the worst, I like them better. So, I mean, Lothaire is our collective problematic fave. So, you know, I say that I'm sure Danny shares this sentiment, but we disagree on a few key guys.
Yes.
Conrad is one. Cadian is the big one.
Yeah.
And Rune.
Yeah.
Rune. I liked him.
We're gonna get into this when we do Sweet Ruin.
I keep on trying to talk about it.
We're only gonna talk to Lothaire for this week.
Okay.
We're just gonna talk up to Lothaire.
I finished Sweet Ruin last night, so it's like fresh in my mind.
We're gonna get to that, but maybe not for a couple weeks.
Okay.
Because after this, we're gonna do Monroe, Shadows Claim Dark Sky.
Okay.
And then our next IAD episode will be...
The Elusive Monroe, or do you mean William?
William
MacRieve.
MacRieve.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
It's because I just can't stop thinking about how badly I want Monroe to come out, and now just every werewolf is turned into Monroe.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, some of the Roth brothers, all baby.
Yep.
Conrad, super baby. I wanted to read that one first because the concept of a ghost having sex with a vampire sounded extremely interesting to me, and I was pretty resistant about reading romance books because in my mind I'm like, oh, I did not like these when I read them when I was 12, so clearly my feelings are unchanged after at least 12, maybe more years, wink wink. Don't do the math.
No.
And I was wrong. I did like it a lot.
Did you? Because at first you didn't.
I liked the first half a lot.
Yeah.
And then the second half happened, and it got really weird, and I got kind of upset because I think
you have to build up to the Kresley Cole brand of weird, though.
Yes.
And jumping like right into book number 4 does not quite work so well.
Especially because at that point they're talking about stuff about, more stuff about vampire lore, where they're talking about the difference between the Horde and the Forebears.
Yeah.
And, hey, Conrad's totally insane because he just sucked a bunch of memories out of other people's bodies.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I think that needed more lore backup. So I do regret starting where I did.
Just for a note, I did tell her not to start there.
She did.
I did, multiple times.
This is my own fault. I did this to myself.
I kept saying, Arlene, don't read that one first. Please don't read that one first. She ignored me and did it anyway.
I just wanted the ghost to get laid, okay? I felt for her, and yeah. But, yeah. Anyways, so I did make it through, and I liked Sebastian and friggin' Beau way more So that was kind of where I was like, okay, these are all good. And then we went to Cadian. Yeah. And I was like, bro.
So, book number 2 is No Rest for the Wicked. That's the one that has Sebastian Roth. And then Bowen is Wicked Deeds on Winter's Night. That's the werewolf. I'm not going to bother doing any of the plot stuff, because I did basically do the whole plots on the previous episode, so you can check those out if you haven't already.
We're having a recap episode?
Yeah, we're just going to talk about Arlene's opinions on these books, so that somebody can at least back up most of mine now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, except for the ones that we differ on, which we're getting into
We will...
Pretty much.
We will get into that.
Right now.
We'll get into that. So, book 4, Conrad Roth, Naomi Laress. Book 5 is Cadian Woweed. This is... The narrator in the audiobook says Woweed.
That's a weird... Cadian Woad is how I've been saying
That's how it looks. Woede. It looks like it should be Woad, and some people say Woad.
Or
but
like Wade, even.
The audiobook narrator says Woweed. Yeah.
I'm going... I have not listened to any of the audiobooks, but you trust him, so...
I do.
I will...
Considering he's done all of the Immortals After Dark books, he probably knows what he's talking about.
I think I might, like, GIF this one, though. Because I'm gonna keep saying Woad.
Okay, well. Cadian Woweed and Holly Ashwin.
Yes.
Is her name.
And Holly was so good. I loved her. To me, this was the first heroine in the Immortals After Dark series where I actually... She felt really different.
She's also the first human heroine that we've had in the series so far. Mm-hmm. She, at the start, air quotes human, at the start of this book, she is a mortal. Yeah. But within, like, the first chapter, she is not mortal anymore.
Yeah, but, my problem with Cade... Which, like I said, we won't go into too much into plot stuff, but my problem with Cade was it felt like the entire book was him, like, trolling this really scared, sad girl and just upsetting her, or at least not, like, trying to not upset her. So, to me, the book had kind of a weird kind of stop harassing my poor Holly. She doesn't deserve this. She doesn't feel good. Leave her alone. And, that's kind of where I landed. On Cade, I am glad they're happy and that there are tiny babies running around. That's mega cute. Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that they were, like, the first for plot reasons. Yep. But, yeah, I wash my hands of him. Rydstrom, way better. Ugh, way better.
See, I preferred Cade, and Rydstrom was okay at best.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
We differed there. Rydstrom was my baby for a long time, and then I read Demon in the Dark. Demon from the Dark. Yes.
But
we're skipping a book entirely.
You skipped over Gareth. Yeah. Who is another, I was going to call him another Monroe, but he's a MacRieve.
They're all just called Monroe.
They're all Monroe now. Every one of them is Monroe now.
MacRieve Monroe.
This is the dedicated Monroe. He likes to follow his girlfriend, Lucia.
Lucia.
You didn't even hear Robert Petkoff's Lucia. No, it's really good. I didn't. I should show it to you.
But later. I said it out loud to myself several times while reading this. Yeah. Lucia.
Lucia.
In, like, the weird Arnold Schwarzenegger voice too. Lucia. It was real bad. But I like this book better now thinking about it than I did when I was reading it.
Yes.
So, I mean, for obvious reasons, it introduces a whole crap ton of plot stuff, which is the awesome meat. And I liked Gareth because he's a werewolf and I like him anyway, so that's fine. It wasn't so much that I disliked the actual dynamic of the pair as much as...
It's just that it wasn't a whole lot compared to... All of the other pairs are very extra.
Yes.
And these guys are just not. No. These guys are standard werewolf Valkyrie pair.
Yeah, I think the most extra part of that book was Lothaire, who was
This is the start of the Lothaire arc.
Yes.
Yes.
And the most extra part being, guy has to go traveling, takes a fucking coffin.
Yes. Oh,
Like,
that was so good.
Are you kidding me?
You're a 4,000-year-old vampire. You don't have to sleep in a coffin, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because
But he's
aesthetics. Aesthetics.
But
He's gonna do what he do. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's something. So, but yeah, that one, I mean, it's kind of a gateway book. And then Demon
It
from the
is,
Dark destroyed me. That was another book I stayed up until 3 or 4 in the morning reading.
Yeah, and then you texted me when you were done, and I was already sleeping, and then I woke up at 6 a.m. to just a bunch of texts.
Like 4 caps
Yeah.
lock messages being like, ah!
Malcolm. This one's the one with Malcolm Slane, who is a
Yeah.
vampire demon hybrid,
Yes,
and
baby.
Caro, who is a witch.
Yeah.
I like Caro.
I like Malcolm.
Yeah, you do. Malcolm.
I also left a review that was essentially just me screaming the whole time, and I feel like that was probably the most honest and raw I've ever been in a book review.
Just screaming in all caps.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
But I loved Malcolm so much. I loved that they couldn't communicate for so long, so everything was just them doing stuff and him sticking his hand in the fire just so she'd touch him again.
Yes,
And,
I forgot about that. That was really good.
It was so good.
Oh, she touched me. She'll touch me again if I stick my entire hand in the fire and burn it.
It was a super bad cat moment.
Yeah.
Like, you take the cat off the counter and they jump immediately
back on the counter,
up.
yeah.
And that was really good.
Yep.
And I guess I really have a soft spot in my heart for those super broken babies who just need love. and I really, really love monsters.
Yeah.
So he was probably the most monstrous. At that point,
thus far,
he was the
you
most
still
monstrous.
have 2 more books to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have Wicked Abyss still to do.
Yeah.
And Abyssian is
I'm
something.
gearing up.
He's the Prince of Hell,
Mm-hmm.
and he's turning into a monster.
Yeah,
You've
I
met
know.
him already,
Yeah,
actually.
I have. And we've talked about his brother, who was apparently just a very ugly, lonely man.
You've seen him.
Yeah, I know. He
Yeah.
was in Shadow's Claim. But
He's in
again,
Shadow's
we'll talk about
We'll
that
get
later.
on that next
Talk
time.
about that later.
Yep.
But
the next book is Dreams of a Dark Warrior with his Declan Chase and Regan the Radiant.
mixed feelings about this one.
I like this one because I like the story of, I guess, I don't even remember what his name used to be when he was a berserker. Aiden the Fierce.
Yes, Aiden. That's
I
it.
remember like reading the prologue to this one, and I just I almost like fucking cried, and
Oh.
and I just like the whole story of Aiden coming back as Declan, and then Regan finding him again, and etc. etc. That doesn't mean I liked Declan himself,
Yeah.
but I like the story.
Liking Declan, I think, was a really hard sell.
Yes.
But what bothered me about this book specifically is I think that Regan got done dirty. They've established this character as being super big and super extra.
Yeah.
And just...
But, like, part of that is she's got the... What is it called?
The collar, the
torque.
torque.
The torque.
Yeah.
Which, like, shuts down everybody's powers and, you know.
Yeah, and for most of this book, she is recovering from heinous torture
Yes.
and emotional trauma, and
Yes.
she's in a bad way, and I really wanted the full Regan experience out of this book, and I didn't get that.
I don't think you could have gotten their story if she wasn't locked down. Because if she had her full powers, she would have just destroyed Declan immediately, and they wouldn't have had that chance to form a relationship with each other.
Yeah, I agree with that, but at the same time, even when they actually started getting to the point where she was in, you know what I mean? Like, they're together-ish, and she's... Like, when they're getting into the meat of the romance, she didn't feel like the Regan I knew.
Right.
And so that, I wouldn't necessarily say bothered me, but it disappointed me. Because I wanted Regan. Because I didn't like her very much.
Right.
To begin with. And I was like, this book is gonna this book I want to sell me on her. And it didn't sell me on her. It sold me on the Regan in this book. You know what I mean? Because she's not that person in any of her other appearances.
Yeah.
So that was kind of where I landed on this. Surprisingly, no issues with her, like, falling in love with this guy. I really liked the history.
Yeah.
And I liked the glimpses back into the different, like, her different lovers, like,
Yeah.
well,
Each one, like,
each
manifested
different
a different personality trait of Aiden the Fierce. Yeah.
I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like, mixed feelings on this book. I'm not mad at it. Like, yeah, so.
Favorite parts of this book were definitely the Lothaire POV chapters, though.
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding? Like, it's like they gave you a little sprinkling, and then you get, like, the full cupcake.
You just get, like, a teeny taste before going into the full Lothaire.
The full Matilda cake.
Yeah. You also meet Thaddeus Brayden in this one.
Oh, the baby.
Thad.
What a sweet boy.
Little baby Thad.
Oh, he's so precious.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so he's definitely also a gift. And I also like that it establishes so many other different characters as well. So,
yeah, Natalia.
Yeah, Natalia.
This is the first time you see MacRieve, like, actually in
Yep.
a plot.
Yep. And it also...
Melanthe and Thronos and...
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of... You also get the Sorcerer ladies. What are their names?
Portia and Ember.
Portia and Embrine.
Yeah. So, you know, I liked all that too. To me, that was all flavor.
Yeah.
I think sometimes a lot of what I like about these books is everything except the romance. and I'm not saying that I don't like the romance and the story and those characters that are, like, the focus, but I also like the other characters so much. So, you know, like, that was all treats.
This is also the book where Lothaire, in his attempt to disguise himself, calls himself the ally of old.
Yes.
When Thaddeus, like, comes up to him and is like, he saves him, and Lothaire is like, this guy can't know that I'm a bad guy, so I'm gonna introduce myself as Lothaire, the ally of old.
He didn't even need to say it. He
just had to say Lothaire.
That had no idea who you were, man. Like, he doesn't even know what any
And then
of
he
this
immediately
is.
bites Thaddeus on the neck.
Oh, Lothaire, please.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of...
What? Yeah, we're here. I know you've been sitting here just waiting to get here.
Waiting. This is... After reading all the other books in the series, Lothaire is my favorite book in the whole series.
I would agree. On the whole, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't like kind of, we'll say, putting words or feelings in authors' mouths, but it feels like, how could he be anything but her favorite as well?
Yeah.
Like, at some
aside
point,
from maybe Nyx.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at least for male characters,
yeah,
like, everything about him, the way he speaks and acts, and the internal dialogue is all so different from every other guy that she's written so far.
I think it has to be for this book, though. If this had been a serious, like, straight-laced, villainous man, and the book was not funny, the book was not completely bonkers, it would not have worked. The reason this book works is because it's ridiculous and it's funny.
Well, she had to make a character that was established as a villain and a terrible villain.
Yeah.
She had to make him likable.
Yeah.
And I think definitely the way to do that is to make him be pretty ridiculous.
He's get frustrated and break all my toys kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
He is just my favorite, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolute favorite.
100%. But you know, and we've had this conversation before where I think I've mentioned how a lot of these guys in these books do some pretty awful things to their girlfriends slash mates. And I think Lothaire has done some of the worst stuff to Ellie, and yet Ellie is still, like, she's right there.
She's a trooper. The book opens with her being on death row for 5 years, and Lothaire almost doesn't come back to get her in time.
Yeah.
It's just like, oops, I forgot the girlfriend. Gotta go get her.
Oh, what a guy. And at least I attribute a lot of that to him just being crazy.
Yeah.
Like, essentially. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, they've established already, like, blood and memories and dreams and all that business. So, I do like, too, that they actually give you a lot of his past. Mm-hmm. And I like that it's sympathetic. I mean, I would have liked it equally much had they just made him just stupid and bad because he's just bad.
Yeah.
And kind of the book is, like, redeeming him versus this book being like, hey, he's actually not that bad. He just is kind of bad. I mean, he just does bad things to people so that he can get stuff from them.
Yeah.
That's not the worst. He doesn't have, like, world domination planned so much as he has groundwork for maybe plans in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody in the lore owes him something at this point.
But he's so clumsy at the same time. Like, I thought that it was just ridiculous. Like, what has he been doing for thousands of years aside from, like, gathering these favors?
Well, he was underground for 600 years.
Well, yes. But after that, he was just like, I gotta get some pinky swears.
Yeah. His book of promises that he keeps.
Yeah. And I mean, they address it in the book where Ellie's like, yeah, you don't actually have any plans at all, do you? You just have a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah.
And that was, to me, like, that was part of what made him so funny, is that he's just doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like, what do you got, buddy? You don't have anything. And I like how many times he was just called on his dumb bullshit, too, because that was incredibly satisfying. Every time anybody gets called out on their dumb bullshit, and then they get really mad, is my favorite in these books, especially because so many of them are so dumb, and I love them so much. It's a gift. And, you know, I feel like we've done a lot of talking about, like, the dudes, and not a whole lot about the ladies.
I feel like the dudes are really the bigger characters.
I feel that too, but and in a way, that feels like such a disservice to a lot of the great female characters that are in these books. Like, I love Catherine. Yeah. And I love Ellie. Yeah. And, I think I actually really like Lucia. Sure. Yeah, like, I'm trying to think of, like, all of the ladies who really stand out in my mind as being my favorite, and I have to save them for the next episode.
I know, yeah.
But as far as the ones I've read so far go, I really liked all of them.
I think it's just the fact that the male characters are always just that much more. Like, the female characters are always really strong, but they have to be because their male characters are even stronger, and they need to be able to kick them in the balls.
They are, that's true, too. So, I mean...
So, like, Cade was not crazy in any way, and Holly was a relatively tame heroine. They could work together. Yeah. Whereas Lothaire was just off his rocker 100% of the time. Ellie was there to, like, kick him in the nuts all the time. And cut off his head.
Sabine was also pretty over the top.
Sabine was extreme.
I think that's the only book where I actually felt like the female character really outshone the male in terms of, like, being way extra.
For sure. Yeah.
I think it was nice that Rydstrom was there to temper her.
Yes. Yeah, that
we'll call it that.
The part of that, like, you can't have a male character trying to temper a female character, because then that comes off as patriarchal. Yeah. And they have to be careful about that, because if you have a male character overpowering a strong female character, that's not good.
Yeah, that can get bad really quick.
Yeah. So
and I totally get that, but I also just let her be bad.
Yes.
Let the females that are bad be bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what made that one okay, is because I think that she really stressed very well that Sabine was super evil and super strong and super capable, you know, and that was, and despite the fact that the entire book was kind of about a big power struggle between the two of them,
Yeah.
I never felt like he was really trying to subjugate her.
No.
And I liked that.
Yeah.
So, Sabine, also great. I love her. I love her and Melanthe a lot. So, we'll get more into that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all in all, I would say final thoughts for Immortals After Dark is just as a whole, as a book series, probably one of the most... I don't even know how to put this, but I have never read a book series this fast in my entire life. And these are not short books.
No, they're not.
They're standard size.
They're like 400 pages a pop.
Yeah, but I mean, I have read multiple of these, one book a day. Like, in the last week, I've read 3. So, you know, it's... And for me, that's significant. I read relatively quickly, but not that quick. And definitely not stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning finishing a book because I cannot wait these last 200 pages to find out how it ends.
Yeah.
And I think that this was probably the best way to get me reading romance books again. And I'm glad because I've read so many other books now that I have liked so much, and I would have never picked them up because of my own misconceptions about what romance books could and are be.
Mm-hmm.
Could and are be.
Could and are be.
Yeah.
You don't think it be, but it do.
Yes.
It do.
And it do. So, yeah, I'm super excited. I am really, really excited for Monroe. And I also, too, just want a release date, even though I'm not done the series yet, but I probably will be by next week.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she has so much room to write books for decades at this point.
Yeah.
She could come out with so many. So I'll probably be reading this one until she stops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
So...
Where can they find us, Danny? Wait, is that it? Are we done?
I think that's it, yeah.
Okay.
They can find us on Facebook and Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and Podbean, Literary AF. Our Gmail is literaryafpod@gmail.com. My Twitter is LiteraryAFPod, where I am doing a giveaway for the rest of the week.
Ooh, yeah.
If you're interested, follow me over on Twitter, retweet the giveaway post, and you'll be entered in a draw to win a couple of my favorite books.
I believe that you have reviewed all of them previously as well. So if you look at the giveaway and you don't recognize these books, you could listen to the podcast.
No, I haven't.
You've done Over and Over Again and
I've
Galaxies
done
and...
over and over again, and I've done Galaxies and Oceans.
And we did Team Fison.
I did not do Master of Crows, and I did not do The Iron Duke.
Ah.
But
maybe we'll fix that one.
you have to read them.
Yes.
Those are both on your list.
I do. Yes, they are. And my Twitter,
yes,
incidentally, is catfacegargoyle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Insta, trying to post more book pictures. LiteraryAFPod.
Should post some pictures so everybody knows
what this monster looks like.
Who keeps interrupting us.
Yeah. Screaming. Yep. Pooping in the middle of a podcast, so we have to stop and edit everything. Thanks, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, guys.